What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Twisted Twenties. This is a podcast dedicated to reminding you of your God-given purpose through personal testimonies, trials, and grief. I believe that each and every single one of us was created with a purpose, for a purpose, and it is up to us to align with it. I'm your host, T. Louise, and I am so excited for today's episode, y'all. This episode is the last episode of June. Y'all, July's episode is going to be fire, okay? Fire. I'm serious. And it's my birthday month, so of course I gotta bring the heat, okay? Girl, gonna be 25. I can't believe I'm gonna be 25. I'm gonna be 25 for a long time. But anyway, so a few updates. If you guys are listening to Twisted Twenties on whatever platform you're listening to, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so that you guys know when new episodes are dropping. Also, you guys, if you guys would love to be a co-host on Twisted Twenties, please email me a 1 to 2 minute video at submissions@twistedtwenties.org. And y'all are really doing numbers. Like in 2 days, Twisted Twenties numbers have doubled. It's just mind blowing. Anna Yele told me not to use that word, y'all. She told me not to use the word mind blowing. She said, you need your mind. Your mind is not blown. I'm just in awe of what God is doing with Twisted Twenties. And I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful for each and every single one of you guys. Y'all are really doing y'all thing. But anyway, today's episode is another vital piece to our journey. And it's also something that I really dealt with and was really going back and forth with myself about. If not now, then when? I know that everything is ordered by God. Every step that we make is ordered by God. Even our mistakes, even everything that we go through, God already knows we're going to do it. But we also have a way of self-sabotaging our own lives. I've talked about that, self-sabotaging with fear. But I also want to ask you this question. If not now, then when? Because sometimes we have so many excuses. So, with that being said, y'all, we are going to go ahead and get into today's podcast episode. All right, y'all. So 4 things that I've realized through my own experiences. 4 things that prevent us from moving. 4 things that cause us to stay in this space of feeling stuck. 4 things that keep us in this place of not moving, being disobedient when God has already given us the green light. But the 4 things is fear, comparison, denial or disbelief, meaning we don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe that we are capable of doing what God has told us to do. We're looking at our bank account instead of what God can do, or our insecurities. When I first thought about this episode, I was like, man, this is really good because I dealt with this for a long time. I've dealt with this majority of my life. I've talked about this before. I've said this before, that my best friend, I was so upset with him. I said, why don't you support me? And my best friend told me, because you never finish anything. And you know why I never finished anything? Because of these 4 reasons: fear, comparison, denial, and my own insecurities. All of these things feed into us not moving. All of these things feed our insecurities. It feeds how we see ourselves. I'm telling y'all, every episode that I have done this month is all leading up to this episode. I've talked about self-sabotaging with fear. I've talked about tainted identities. I've talked about all these things. Now, next month, we're going to get into comparison and how comparison is a trap. But I allowed my failure in my first business venture to install fear in me. When God told me, Star Major, come back up, I was like, I had a fire about it, and then I let fear eat me up. I was so fearful of failing. I was so fearful of making a mistake. I was so fearful of not having the right information this time, even though I had all the information. But I was so fearful of putting myself out there again after I had literally put myself out on the internet and made a complete fool of myself. That's me. Not saying that someone else said that, but that's how I was thinking. That was how I was seeing myself. Not only that, I was comparing myself to others. And don't get me wrong, I still do it sometimes. I still get caught up. Man, she 25 and she already doing this. One person that I found myself comparing myself. It's a few people I done compared myself to before. Y'all know De'Ara Taylor, okay? Girl is making moves, making boss moves, okay? And I think she's like 25, 26. I think she just turned 26. And I'm like, bro, I'm finna be 25, and what am I doing? She traveling the world. She just got back from Thailand, even though I've been to Thailand. But, you know, she just got back from Aruba. She just launched her business. And it's other YouTubers that I follow on YouTube who are doing things at younger ages than I'm doing. And I'm like, dang. Like, what I'm doing, I'm just getting started. And, you know, somebody told me the other day, they was like, you're not giving yourself enough grace. Like, I never realized how much my mom's death really affected me. Like, I never realized that. I just was always just beating myself up. You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. Not even realizing that I can't do a lot. I'm exhausting myself in this area of my life, in this area of my life, in this area of my life. How can I don't have anything left after I've poured into my podcast. I poured into Davion. I've poured into other people. I've poured into myself. At this point, I ain't got nothing else to give. So what I'm doing is what I'm capable of doing in the moment. And God says that that's okay. God is saying that you will still reap the benefits. And I know that he's telling me I'm going to reap the benefits when I seen my podcast jump in 2 days. It jumped tremendously in 2 days. I was also in denial. I was in denial because of the fear, because of the comparison. Oh, well, I can't do it. I don't look a certain way. That was another thing. Like my insecurity, my weight, being a plus size, being a big girl. Oh, I don't look the part. You know, I'm too big. I'm not as small as y'all you should be. You know, I don't know how to do my makeup. I don't wear wigs. I don't do this. It was so many excuses that I was feeding to myself. And it put me in a place of just not moving. It put me in a place of not being obedient. My podcast, I can say my podcast is the one thing that I have literally been consistent with since 2019. Even though my seasons it may be 3 or 4 months before I put out another season, but it has still been consistent. I never went a whole year without putting anything out. Now, has my podcast gotten more consistent over the course of this year? Yeah, it really has, because God been giving me ideas. He been giving the content ideas. And Davion too, y'all. I be stealing his sayings. He be upset with me, but between me and y'all, listen, he be giving me some good ideas, and I be having to use them, so he'll be okay. But I say all that to say, I talked about this last episode. I've been reading the book of Proverbs, y'all. Proverbs will come for your throat, your scalp, your edges, your everything, okay? When I say reading the word of God has really got me like, ooh, like you didn't have to come for me like that, okay? There is 3 Bible verses that I want to share with y'all today that really spoke to me, and I really felt like it was really perfect for this episode. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 4. Okay. Y'all, this one really just blew me out the water. Sluggards do not plow in season, so at harvest time they look but find nothing. So I'm going to use that verse to go along with comparison. We compare ourselves, and then we don't even realize that these people that are literally in positions that we really want to be in was grinding behind the scenes for years and years and years. They were literally sowing seeds, which is why they're reaping their harvest. But we don't do anything. We move sluggish. We move slow. And then we do a little bit of something. And then we expect to see a harvest. And that was my problem. Is like I would do something so small and I'm like, okay, God, make it happen. And God is like, no, you need to be consistent. You need to do this, and this. You can't just do one little small tiny thing and think that God's going to work with that. Second verse. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. Also, y'all, when I'm giving y'all these verses, make sure y'all go and read these for yourselves and ask God for your own understanding, because what I may be telling y'all, he may not give the same revelation to y'all. I'm only telling y'all the revelation that he gave to me. Okay. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. So this was another thing that I felt like with me. I was always moving in haste. Like I always wanted stuff fast. Like one thing my mom used to say to me that I really thought didn't really include me, but it really did, was she said, your generation is so microwavable. And I'm like, not me. I'm not microwavable. She's like, yes, you are. Y'all want stuff in an instant. And that's so true. Like we expect, make one video, we go to sleep, and we supposed to go viral when we wake up in the morning. Like that's really how some of us think. I've been guilty of that. Like when I wake up and I post a video and I'm like, I know the content is good, but I only get 2 likes, but 200 people done seen it. Why only 2 of y'all liking my video, but 200 people done seen it? That don't even make sense to me in my head. But that's because that's not my audience. But if I'm consistent with putting content out, my videos will eventually reach the audience that it needs to reach. And then if I'm consistent and I keep doing stuff, then I will eventually reap the harvest. The last verse, this one, oh my goodness, this one really stuck to me, because if y'all remember a couple months ago, I told y'all that I had this feeling of like I was stuck and I wanted more out of life, but I didn't know what to do. And I kept begging and asking God for a job. And God was like, I've already told you what you need to do. And if you would just do it, you will see the fruits of your labor. But I just kept wanting him to give me a job. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 25 through 26. And I didn't write the whole verse of 26 because it was only the first piece that I really needed. But it says, the craving of a sluggard will be the death of him. And not a physical death, y'all. I don't want y'all to think of physical death. I'm talking about a death of your purpose, a death of your assignment. Because the longer you move slow and sluggish, you're not moving in the area that God needs you to move in. So sometimes our gifts, sometimes our assignments will die. They will die off. And I missed out on so much. God told me I'm restoring. I'm giving you back everything that you missed out on. So Proverbs chapter 21, 25 through 26. The craving of a sluggard will be the death of him, because his hands refuse to work. All day long, he craves for more. Okay. Now this one I got to repeat one more time because I want y'all to really understand this. The craving of a sluggard will be the death of him, because his hands refuse to work. All day long, he craves for more. We crave for something more out of life, but we don't want to do the work. We crave for more money, or we crave for a better life for ourselves, but we don't want to do the work to get there. We just think it's supposed to be handed to us. We just think we're supposed to say a prayer and God's supposed to just pop out of the sky like a genie and say, oh, wish granted. We don't want to do the work. I've said this before. Dr. Chandler Bailey has said God's people be so busy making moves, but we really don't be making moves. God's people make money when they make moves, meaning God's people make money when they are in purpose. When they are doing the assignment that God needs them to do. If not now, then when? When are you going to get on assignment? When are you going to get in your purpose? Because if I wanted to be like really serious about some things, the way that the world is going, this is not the time to be moving sluggish. This is not the time to not understand who you are in Christ. This is not the time to not understand your purpose, not understand your assignment. This is not the time. There are people out there that are waiting to hear your voice. There are people out there that is waiting for you to start your clothing brand. There are people out there that are waiting to hear what you have to say. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking nobody with a 9-to-5, because God needs people in the hospitals. God needs people, at the grocery store. God needs people in every area of the world, in every area. But what I am saying is, if God has given you a specific assignment, a specific purpose, if you have a feeling that you are meant for more than where you currently are, if not now, then when? If not now, then when? If not now, then when? One thing that really pushed me was I said, I do not want to look later on life in my, whether that's even 30, whether it's 28, I'm finna be 25. And I still look back on my life from 2-3 years ago and I'm like, if I had have been consistent, if I had been focused, but it wasn't the time. But I don't want to look back and I'm 40, 50 years old and I'm saying, I wish I would have done this differently. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have taken that risk. And really all risk is stepping out on faith. Like, people can say all along, you need to take a risk. No, you need to trust that God is going to provide with whatever he has told you to do. If God is telling you start a business and you look at your account and you see $0, you still have to do it. And you have to have faith and trust that God is going to provide you with the money to produce whatever it is that he's told you to produce. If not now, then when? We don't understand how precious life is. Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. You may say, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. You may not even be here tomorrow. So who are you to say I'm going to do it tomorrow? Do it today. Do it today. Because if not now, then when? Y'all, I've been starting this thing where I give y'all these prayers. Okay? Prayer, journal prompts, whatever you want to call them. I call it prayer prompts and journal prompts because God speaks to me through my writing. I may ask him something in prayer and he may say, write this down. And I really enjoy him speaking to me through my writing because I can always go back and repeat what he said to me. I have 2 prayers for y'all today. I was thinking I was going to have 3, but I only got these 2. Sometimes they come to me later on throughout the day, but I only have these 2 for y'all today. Prayer number 1 is, God, reveal to me what I can do today to move in purpose. Today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, today. Something else that I sent my Pastor Marquette, because he's really been on my mind, like really, really heavy. And I prayed for him the other day because he was on my mind during prayer. But I told him, stop looking at your paper account and look at your favor account. Y'all, let me tell y'all, okay, this may not be a big story to y'all, but it's a big story to me. I went to Chick-fil-A today. Okay. I got, I had got a half and half sweet lemonade, sweet tea, half lemonade, which is like my favorite thing. And then I got Babe a strawberry lemonade. Because if y'all don't know, here in Atlanta, well, really not Atlanta, but in Jonesboro, they have a Chick-fil-A called Truett's Grill. And they still have regular Chick-fil-A stuff, but they have different stuff too. And they have strawberry lemonade. That's actually really good. So I get to the thing to get my stuff. And the girl says, hey, would you like a free frosted lemonade? And I didn't hear her at first. And I said, what'd you say? She said, would you like a free frosted lemonade? And I was like, well, yeah, I'll take that free frosted lemonade. To y'all, that may seem so small, but to me, that is favor. I listened to an episode. I don't know really what to call them, but I was on a Clubhouse meeting with the Kingdom Business Network, and they were talking about favor. And Pastor Chandler Bailey was talking about how each morning you need to wake up and declare God's favor over your life. He said people think that favor is, oh, I got my bills paid. No, favor is when you go in somewhere. I will give you another example. Favor is, God gave us favor with our landlord, y'all. With our landlord. We didn't know where we was going to go. We were struggling. We was like, rent going up $1,200. How are we going to afford this? Our landlord said we can't do month to month while we look for a house. This is what she told us. She told us this before our lease was up. She said, no, I can't do month to month. Do you know God gave us favor with her? She's allowing us to do month to month. She told us, y'all stay as long as y'all need. That is favor. I don't even know how I got on that, y'all. I don't know. Maybe that was for somebody. I don't know. I just be letting the Holy Spirit lead. Okay. Let me get back on track. But yeah, those are my 2 examples of favor. Like, favor is literally when you just don't, it's just something that people just give you. It's just out of the blue. I can give y'all another example. I broke my glasses. A lady at church gave me $50 to get my glasses fixed. $50. Favor. I had favor with Pastor Marquette when he gave me his whole setup for my podcast. I was on Amazon trying to figure out how I was gonna pay for it, and he gave it to me. Favor. When you move in purpose, that's why I brought that up, because I was talking about if you have $0 in your account, you still have to trust and believe that God is going to provide. I had $0 in my account when he gave me his setup. I had no money to my name. I could not figure out how I was going to get the stuff that I needed for my podcast, and he gave it to me. He gave it to me. Oh, and the setup was like $200, and he gave it to me. Favor. Okay? God, reveal to me what I can do today to move in purpose. Prayer number 2 is, God, reveal to me how fear, comparison, denial, or disbelief, and or my own insecurities have caused me to not move or to stall in my purpose. I'm going to read it again. God, reveal to me how fear, comparison, denial, or disbelief, and or my own insecurities have caused me to not move or stall in my purpose. Because that's what they do. They cause you to stall in your purpose. They cause you to not move. And that's I hope this month's episodes have been as beneficial to y'all as it has for me. Because me pouring all of this out to y'all is stuff that I've literally learned, stuff that God has been giving me revelations about in my own life. And it's so important for us to understand, if not now, then when? When are you going to decide, hey, I'm not going to allow fear to hold me back anymore. God has a purpose for me. God created me with a purpose. You will crave all day long for more, but you won't get more because you are sluggish. You are slow to move in your purpose. You won't get more because you refuse to do the work. You will look and look and look for your harvest, and you will not reap a harvest because you have not put in the work. I had a vision in my prayer time, and there was so many roots. I couldn't even see it. And I asked God, what are you showing me? He said, I'm showing you dirt with roots. And God said, everything that you've been pouring, everything that you've been planting, everything that you've been sowing in these past 6 months, you are going to reap the benefits of. I am going to reap my harvest because I have been diligent. I have been consistent. So I'm going to ask you one more time. If not now, then when? When are you going to say, I'm going to do the work without inconsistency? I talked about that last week. Consistently inconsistent. Shout out to Babe for the title, though, because, he be salty when I don't shout him out for taking his stuff. So, I just figured, because we were one, that, his ideas were my ideas and my ideas are his. So what do I need to shout you out for? But hey, okay. I talked about that last week. Consistently inconsistent. You cannot be inconsistent in your purpose, because you know why? If you are inconsistent in your purpose, your crops will die. Your plants will die. A plant has to be watered. It has to be watered. Your crops have to be watered. You cannot reap a harvest. If you are a farmer and you just plant stuff and you don't go out and you don't do anything to it, you're not going to have anything coming out of the ground when it comes time to reap the harvest. If not now, then when? When? It's time. It's been time. But you still allowing fear to hold you back. You still allowing comparison to hold you back. You still allowing disbelief and denial of yourself to hold you back. And let me take it up a notch. You still allowing denial in what God can do in your life to hold you back. You still allowing disbelief in what God can do in your life to hold you back. Because you're so busy looking at what you have, what's in front of you. That's why the Bible says we walk by faith and not by sight. Because if you keep looking at what's in front of you, you will never do what you need to do. You will never get on assignment. You won't. Because you keep looking at what's in front of you. You keep allowing your insecurities to hold you back. So I ask you again, if not now, then when? It's been time. And God was really tugging at me. And I had to come to a point where I said, okay, this is it. Enough is enough. Enough of feeling unfulfilled. Enough of stalling. Enough of of allowing my insecurities, allowing fear, allowing all of these things to control me and keep me bound from moving in my purpose. In the moment that I said yes to God and his purpose for my life, favor was poured over my life. I really hope that this month's episodes have blessed you as much as they have blessed me. And I pray that each and every single one of you guys will be filled with the longing, filled with the courage, filled with the confidence to go after your purpose unapologetically. I really do. I love each and every single one of you guys. I thank you for supporting Twisted 20s. I love you. Peace, love, and blessings. T. Louise.